My mom, Susan, had a habit of sending me to get her shopping. However, she would always leave out a zero when paying me back what was owed, blaming on her poor eyesight. I never minded. In fact, I would just cover the cost without another word. Then, Summer, my sister, had to throw shade. Mom sends you money whenever she wants something. You never show us the actual costs, though. I bet you're making a nice little profit off Mom behind our backs. Susan smiled and didn't even bother to defend me, as if confirming Summer's accusations. My heart sank. Over the years, I had bought her things from major appliances to the smallest groceries, and each time, the payment she sent was short. Susan would just brush the whole thing off by saying, "Oh, my eyes aren't what they used to be. My bad." I had poured hundreds of thousands into her expenses, only to end up with a reputation as a thief who cheated her own family. When Susan sent me money for the New Year's Eve catering, I simply booked food that fit the budget she paid for. An awkward silence hung over the room. The people at the dinner table simply stared at the food spread with a mix of emotions. I urged, "Don't just sit there. Dig in." My mother, Susan Bridget, pulled a grimace, holding back an outburst only because others were present. Swallowing her rage, Susan asked, "Is this all of it? Push the waiting staff to hurry up and serve the rest." "This is everything," I replied indifferently before turning to the rest of the family. "Eat up before the food gets cold." Thud! Susan slammed her utensil down, her chest heaving. "We are a table of 12, and this is what you get us?" One family member uttered, "Macy, surely this is a mistake. This isn't quite the New Year's Eve spread we usually have. In previous years, the family would have a feast with plenty of the finest seafood. This year, the table looked barren, set with only a small buffet. The only thing remotely close to a shellfish blowout was a measly shrimp cocktail." Of course, the family was confused. "No, that's no mistake." I shook my head. Infuriated, Susan pressed, "I gave you money to host the New Year's Eve party, and this is what you're serving everyone?" I glanced at the spread and sighed. "Well, this is the best I can do with the limited budget." My sister Summer Fowler said, her finger up my nose, "Who are you kidding? I know for a fact that Mom wired you $4,000 for the catering. I doubt there's even $500 worth of food here. Did you pocket the rest? I know that you're always finding excuses to buy things for Mom and overcharge her for the errands, but you've gone too far this time." Following the statement, the family gave me looks filled with judgment. I turned to her. "Have you forgotten, Mom? You only sent me $400, and this is the food all that money could buy." Panic fleeted across Susan's face as she hadn't expected me to call her out. Nevertheless, she was quick to cover her tracks. Clearing her throat, Susan kept cutting her eyes at me. "What are you talking about? I sent you $4,000. Summer mocked. "Oh, just give it up. I was there when Mom called you. She told you that the budget was $4,000. How can you claim that you got $400? That's quite a ridiculous cut you're giving yourself." With Summer backing Susan up, the family members' disdain for me grew. Uncle Sam said furiously, "Macy, how could you steal from your own mother?" Faced with their skepticism, I pulled up the transaction record. "See for yourselves. Mom transferred $400. It was true that Susan called me to give me the budget for the New Year's Eve party. However, when the money came, it was only $400. It was Susan's go-to MO. She'd play dumb so long as I kept quiet. The moment I spoke up, she'd blame her eyesight for being off by a digit. Then came the guilt trip. "So I fell short on the funds? Do you need to go out of your way to point that out? After all the years I've cared for you, must you get upset over a bit of money? You're nothing like your sister. You are a thankless brat." Sitting next to me, Tanya glanced at my phone before looking up and uttering, "Oh, it is just $400, Susan." Susan let out a strained chuckle in embarrassment. "My eyesight isn't what it used to be. I must have missed a zero." She glared at me. "Why didn't you say something sooner?" Susan reluctantly transferred me the rest of the funds, her voice stiff when she said, "There you go. You have the money. Now get us a decent spread. Don't keep everybody waiting." Before I could get a word in, "You can find the full story in my bio. It's free."